Welcome to episode 279.
You're listening to Escaping the REI Newbie Zone podcast, where you'll learn the underground, closely guarded secrets that will revolutionize your real estate business. This podcast is all about helping you exit the real estate newbie zone and enter financial freedom, building up your real estate throne. This is Escaping the REI Newbie Zone podcast. And now your host, real estate investor, entrepreneur, world traveler, and nationwide mentor, Chris Bruce.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Escaping the REI Newbie Zone. I'm your host, Chris Bruce. I want to say thank you for tuning in to today's show. Now, I have a very, very special guest. He's actually a client of mine. We've been working together for the past few months, and you are going to hear his amazing story on how he literally used his cell phone to put together a deal which, listen, it made him $28,000. And I'm telling you, the length of the time, the how he did this deal, and he did it virtually, oh my gosh, it's going to blow you away. Blow you away. All right, so I'm going to wait no further and go ahead and introduce my client, Yosef. So get ready for this interview. All right, how you doing, everybody? Like I said, I want to welcome you to the podcast episode. And like I said on the intro, we're going to wait no further and introduce my man, Yosef. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Chris?
Man, blessed, man. I cannot complain. So, Yosef, man, I mean, before we even dive straight in on the results, first off, I want to take people down the journey. What were you doing before you even decided to get into real estate?
Man, well, I mean, if I was to really be serious about it, this started back in, I want to say 2015.
Okay.
2015, I had I was in the Navy. I did about 10 years in the Navy. And I had this guy, he would show up on base with this board game called Cash Flow. And he would, he tried to get us to play the game. And I played the game a couple times. And me and my wife, we played with him. And yeah, he was just really pushing this real estate thing. And at the time, I really didn't think it was real, to be frank with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way he's saying, like, you can make money off of it and all of that, I'm just like, this stuff ain't real. And he was telling me, you need to get a mentor. I could be your mentor. Just pay me this and I'll be your mentor. And I'm like, why would I pay you to mentor me? I'm just going to I'd rather just play the game.
Right.
And but eventually he was like, you go and you could draw for dollars. And me and my wife, we started drawing for dollars. We did it for maybe like 2 weeks, and then we quit, and that was it. And I didn't think about real estate again until, I want to say, last year, this December of last year. I came across Facebook ad.
Okay.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Yep.
And they had an informational brief in my city. I went to the city, and I got bedazzled by all the hype.
Oh yeah.
And I they teach you how to raise, go call your credit card company and max out all your credit cards, so that way you get higher limits. And then really it's all I don't want to say it's a scam, but really the whole thing, like, they tell you that you can buy a house using a credit card. That's what they tell you. You can buy a house using a credit card. But they saying this in the informational meeting. So it's like, oh damn, all right. And they like, go do it, and when you come back the next day, let us know what happened. So you come back the next day, you then got a higher limit on your credit card, and now they like, boom, we have a package, $30,000 package. You just maxed out your credit card, so I mean, you got a higher limit now, so you can get the package now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they telling you that you can do it in order to buy houses, but really, it's so you can buy that package. So,
Got you. Wow.
But I'm saying this, looking back on it. So I paid like 14 grand on this package, and it's really just videos, to be honest with you. That's all it was. And so I'm watching the videos, and And I'm thinking that I'm going to learn something about real estate, but it was just too, it's just too technical. It was like taking a college course.
Okay.
And then I had, after a while, I started saying, nah, this not gonna work into anything. And my boy, he didn't have no money. He didn't have no credit card, no nothing. And he was just out here driving for dollars. And he had Facebook ads, and I'm seeing it, and I'm like, man, how the hell he doing that? He ain't got no money. He driving stuff. And here I am. I didn't pay all this money for this premier package, and I ain't doing nothing.
Right.
And I want to say a couple weeks went by. Now this is like maybe February, March, maybe closer to May. And a couple weeks went by, and then I seen your ad on Instagram. I saw your ad before about virtual, but I was like, nah, I don't know about that. I ain't never heard nobody talking about virtual, real estate. Ain't nobody else talking about that. So I was like, nah. But I seen your ad, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it another shot. And I went and I watched some of your stuff. I think I paid for like one of your courses.
Okay.
Like $150 for one of the courses or whatever. And I looked at it and I was like, and I didn't even really get into it. Never months went by. I'm getting emails from you like damn near every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You blow my email up. Yep. And finally one day I looked at one of the emails and it said that you had a mentorship package. And I remember what that guy had told me when we was playing cash flow. He was like, if you're going to get in this, you need to get a mentor. So I seen the package and I just went and just applied for it, and I was like, really, this was my last ditch effort.
Wow.
Like, I told my wife, I said, I'm going to pay this money for his mentorship program. If this don't work, I'm done with real estate. That's it. I'm not spending no more money on this. And I watch it. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you.
Hey, let's do it. Let's be real.
I'm just gonna be real, man. When I downloaded your course, I'm gonna be real, man. You probably gonna notice, but I had already spent $14,000 on the course.
Right.
So when I seen your course, and I went through that course. So when I seen your course, I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and go through this course.
Yeah. I'm
about to just. You told me to download Voxer. I download Voxer. I was like, I'm about to just hit him up on there and say, what do I do? I don't know if you remember.
Yep.
But I was like, hey, what do I do now? He was like, all right, you need to go and set this VA up. I was like, all right, I set the VA. He's like, now you need to get a marketing list. Here's the marketing list. You just send me the marketing list. I'm like, all right, so what do I do with that? He was like, you need to set up. He was like, after a while, he was like, bro, all this stuff in the training. You ain't see the training? I'm like, yeah, I see it. Can you send it to me again? So then you sent me the video, and it was like a 2-minute video. I'm watching it, and I just started just implementing everything you was sending me, because the way that I looked at it was, if I'm gonna do this, I just gotta just do it. Like my boy, he told me it's this phrase that they say, they call it analysis paralysis.
Yep.
You get all this information, and you're like, man, like, I don't know, it's so much information overload, you just don't end up doing nothing.
Right.
But this case, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to just pick your brain, and that's what I did. And I want to say, I had set up the VA. My VA was calling. She wasn't really getting no hits on nothing. And then maybe about 2 weeks into that, you released a SMS blast, and that's life now. I mean, it was like, it got to the point where I'm getting response. I'm looking at my VA responses. What's she doing?
Right.
And then I'm looking at the responses that I'm getting on the SMS, and it just couldn't compare. So I was like, and I was starting to run out of marketing money. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hit pause on this VA.
Yep.
And I'm going to go hard on this SMS.
Yeah.
And like every day, from the hours of like 8, I'll say from 8 to 11, and then from about 4 to 8 at night, I'm sending out mass SMS blasts.
Yeah, but let me stop you there. Hold on. So that's what I want people to understand. Like, one, marketing is all about testing, right? So Yosef tested the cold calling. and try to see, that. And we saw a decline in the results that we were getting with cold calling. Unless we were willing to do, $20,000 a month to get consistent deals, or even $10,000 a month. Unless we were willing to do that, there was just no way we could really compete. And so I was like, you know what? Let me figure out something else that we can do. I tested the ringless voicemail. That was starting to get us results, of course. But I was like, I know there's something that has to be better. So that's why I started doing some digging. And I found this other software, but it was expensive. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. I have the budget for this, but I got to find something that could be more affordable for my clients. I'm working for them. I want to make sure that they are successful. So I'm like, I got to do some digging and find out. And just so it happens that one of the friends that came up in the same time I did with real estate in the same city launched his own software. And it's crazy because he told me this months ago, but I really overlooked it. I really was like, what he said literally went through one ear and out the other. I wasn't really paying no attention. And then right when I posted something about investing in another software, he was like, bro, what are you doing? I got the same freaking software at a much cheaper price that you could offer to your clients, and they can start to get results. And I'm like, oh, I forgot. So it was crazy how that happened. But what I want you guys to tune in is that when you do become a client of mine, if you do become a student of mine, my goal is to every time look at what can I do to refine the different strategies and things that I'm doing in my business that I could bring to my clients and make sure they get results. So as soon as I figure something out and we start getting results, I didn't wait until a week and a half, and I was like, all right, here you go. All right, so Yosef, you start doing these text blasts, your response rates. Throw out some response rate numbers. Do you got some percentages at all that what you were getting off the response rate?
Look, Chris, as soon I don't got no numbers, nothing. All I know is when I hit that button send, I'm getting immediate. I did what you said not to do the first time. Like I hit send to all, because like I said, I sent out 2,000 blasts and I got back like immediate. It's like almost immediate. As soon as you send out the blast, people are responding. This is real. This is like real life. This is real. As soon as you send it out, people responding. So I don't have no response rate like data.
Yeah, got you.
I just know, it
was blowing up.
Anybody who used the software, they're gonna get responses. I almost feel like I'm marketing the software, but that's it's just
it is. But that's the thing about it, is that the reason why it's so effective. One, most people aren't doing this. They have no idea about this, and even if they did know how, they don't even know what to say, how to work it, things like that, right? But majority of the world, because of the bigger people that are, quote unquote gurus or whatever the case may be, a lot of people are pushing the cold calling and the driving for dollars and ringless voicemail. So text message blast is not really being marketed, and there are a few of those that are doing it, but they're just not marketing it to anyone. So that's the reason why, one, it's working so great right now. Two, just period, people not going to answer a lot of times a phone number that they don't know, but they're going to answer a text message.
Oh yeah. And I hope the gurus don't start teaching it. I hope they just stay right here with it.
Well, I think you have, honestly, probably about, to be real with you, another year, probably maybe to the end of this year. And when some of the bigger guys that have a bigger following, if they ever start to put this out there, I say it's gonna be a wrap. But you got at least to the end of this year, going to next year. I think it's still gonna work. I mean, and that's not to say those other stuff don't work, because people still cold call and get deals. People still do direct mail and get deals. It's just that when everybody is doing it, then it's like, it gets. That's when the competition comes in. But anyways, all right. So fast forward, you text blasting, you're getting some leads in. Of course, you're getting some responses, good, bad, ugly, all that other stuff. So this particular lead that came in, where the woman was, I don't want to give it away, but was she behind in her mortgage, or what was the situation with this particular property?
Yeah, the particular situation was her mother had died. She was on the deed, and she was 2 months behind. She was a month behind on the mortgage, and then we were in the middle of the second month. and she hadn't paid it that month either.
Okay. All right. So she was at this point desperate because she was probably gonna end up losing it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So there's some motivation there. And this deal was what, 2 hours away from you?
Yes, about 2 hours away. I never seen the house. I never seen never seen the house, never seen the seller, never seen the buyer. I didn't see nobody.
Wow, completely done virtual.
100% virtual deal. What's crazy about it is we talking about text message blast. This wasn't somebody that I was actively talking to. You know what I mean? Like, I sent her a message, and she responded, "Yes, I'm interested in the offer. I did something that you told me not to do."
The only reason why I didn't want you to do that is because it worked for me once, but I was like, this can't work all the time. So I don't want my students to be like, yo, I'm just gonna talk to them through text message and do everything. So it's crazy that it worked for you, because again, it worked for me one time, but I was like, I don't want them to think, because then people are gonna be saying, oh, Chris, I thought you could just do everything through text. But you're living proof that it worked.
Yeah. I mean, like, like I said, I sent her the message, I want to say I sent out my blast like maybe on like a Tuesday, and she responded on like a Thursday, yeah, I'm interested. And I think she might have responded at like 2 a.m. Like, it was late. It was real late, and I was just up, and I seen the message, and I was like, by this time, like you said, the responses you be getting from these people, you get all kinds of like, F you,
right,
my phone, eat this, you just you get all of those. So at this point, I'm like, I'm just gonna just throw a crazy number out there. I'm just gonna just throw something. I'm gonna throw the lowest number I could think of, and it was like 30. I think it was like $36,000. I was like 36, and I had read another that $14,000 thing I paid. They told me that when you put out an offer, you don't want to put it in round numbers. You always want to put like some crazy numbers with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like $36,593. So I sent that to her in the text, and I ain't think nothing of it. Over the weekend, I don't work on the weekend at all.
Okay.
And but over the weekend, she sent me a message back, and then I want to say Monday morning, I finally read it, and she was like, "I accept your offer."
Wow.
I'm like, wow. I'm like, man, this is crazy. Okay, cool. So I'm like, I sent her I asked her for her email address. I do everything electronic. So I asked for her email address. She sent me an email address. I sent her the contract electronically so she could electronically sign it. She electronically signed it or whatever. And then, the rest of it, after she electronically signed it, the rest of it, I literally had to go back to your videos for the marketing of it. So
gotcha.
While I'm talking to the title company, I have the video on pause while I'm talking to the title company to see what the next thing I need to say to them. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
like,
yeah, got you.
That's how I got to the rest of it. Same thing with posting it up for sellers.
Okay.
And I posted it up on Craigslist. Like, I'm watching your video, got the video on pause, I play the video, say posting on Craigslist, say this. All right, minimize that. Craigslist, I say this. That's pretty much how I did it with posting it up. And I was real optimistic, so I just I think I had put like $75,000 up there. And I want to say I put the ad up at like 10 at night. 6 in the morning, I got a text message from a buyer saying, "Hey, I want to go see it." So, and then right after that, the rest of the phone calls just started blowing up. My phone just started blowing up for that deal. So, I mean, it's like everybody like, I want to see it. And the first guy, he came in. He was like, "I do 65." I was like, eh. Another guy came in. He was like, "I could do 70." I was like, okay. I was like, "Come up to 75." And but we went back and forth, and then finally we came to an agreement. But that's just like the beginning stuff. Like,
yeah,
I did a lot. It was a lot to get this deal, because after that, I think this is where the experience comes in at, because I hadn't watched all the training videos. I didn't know how to properly screen my buyers.
Right.
You remember we was talking about, like, I'm thinking like this, the one buyer, I'm thinking he's another wholesaler.
Yeah. Yep.
Didn't go through properly screening them. So it took us about, and then it was over 4th of July weekend. So all the title companies was closed. It took, and I ended up taking it to the wrong title company. And then I had to wait a whole week to get it to another title company. And then after I got it to the title company, I got it to the other title company. I had to wait another week for it to close. It was just like a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. Good news though was I had enough time to get my corporation up.
Yeah, that was good. So you got the LLC and everything up, company right. Up. So that way when you was time to get the check, it's like, okay. And so for people to know, okay, so you found a buyer, you got the right title company, everything. Finally, everything is good to go. How much did you make on this transaction?
$28,355.
Whew. Man. Listen, for those of you that are listening to this episode, understand this. My man Yosef made $28,000 not leaving his couch. All right. Some of you, it's not to talk bad or anything like that, but some of you, I know you would love to make that. Some of you are working your butt off every day to make that. Every day you're slaving away. And real estate wholesaling, it gives you the opportunity to see these type of money. Will you make that on every deal? No. You know, is it possible? Yes, absolutely. He does this deal virtual, never met the seller buyer, never stepped foot in the house, just followed simple steps, not easy steps, but simple steps, and got a $28,000 check. And that's why I wanted to bring him on, just so you can hear that this is real. I don't know how many more testimonials I got to put out. I don't know how many more checks I got to show you of me cashing in the title company. I don't know what else I need to show you guys. This shit is real. It is real. And it's like, listen, the only thing that's going to hold you back from your check or your wire coming in is you. Do you want to put the work in? Do you want to try to keep going to YouTube University and trying to place things and put things together? That's fine and dandy, and it may work for you. But like Yosef, he had $14,000 worth of education, and it still didn't give him the exact help that he needed. And that's what a lot of you are struggling with, is that you're saying, oh, I could just go, well, I'm going to pay somebody, I could just go get the free information. Well, yeah, you could go get the free information, but when you get into certain situations, you can't go ask that free YouTube channel, how do I do this? That's when you need someone that you can physically be able to talk to help you get through things and have a little more experience, so when certain things come up and a YouTube video can't cover, it will be able to assist you in getting you to where you need to be at. So Yosef, $28,000 deal. The one thing I love that you did, bro, seriously, because this has happened with some of my other clients that have got their first check, you did not let the foot off the gas.
Nope.
So already now, you already have a second deal under contract, and you got. Do you have a buyer for it already?
Already had the buyer lined up. Yes, I already got a buyer. He's already in escrow. This morning when you called me, you know, we talking about doing this podcast. I was like, I might have to postpone this because I got to talk to the escrow officer, because I just sent the, you know. I just sent it in the escrow.
Wow.
Yeah. $12,000.
That's what I love, man, because that's what you got to do, is don't take your foot off the gas. Once you start making money and things is rolling, you got your momentum, you keep going. Keep going. So tell me about, real quick, we're not going to stay on too late, but this deal, how did you acquire this particular deal?
This was a follow-up, actually. I remember you always say that. You say that in all the weekly, bi-weekly Zoom meetings, and then you say it in the course too. Follow up. So this one was a follow-up. I went back through my old text message on the software, and I just went through and sent everybody, are you still interested in buy? You still interested in buy? You still interested in buy? I mean, selling. And this dude, he responded. And man, this was a story too. This one is like, the guy the guy I'm talking to is actually the owner's son, but the owner's son, he helps run his father's real estate business. So I put an offer in, and he's like, nah, we got a higher offer in. So I matched the offer that he had in. I pretty much like stole this deal from whoever it was that had that. Because the other dude, he had an offer in, but every day, once he told me he had the offer in, every day I'm sending him like, hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? You still trying to sell it? Still trying to sell it? He's like, well, I got this in. I'm like, well, I can match it. So I just kept hitting him up, and eventually, I want to say yesterday, he finally gave in. He probably got tired of hearing me, because I kept, every day I'm sending him a message, I'm calling him, hey, I sent the contract over, can you sign it? And he's like a real old school dude. He don't like doing nothing. His dad don't like doing nothing electronically, so he had to print it out and sign it and stuff. But yeah, wow. That's how I got that one. And once I knew that he was going to give me the deal, to be honest, and he wanted to, like, he had a real strict time limit, because you know how with you teachers, you say do 30 days, 30-day close, and then a 90-day inspection window. Well, he's an investor, so he's like, no, you got to do it in 15 days. You know, he was like, he wanted a real high earnest money deposit. You saved me with that one, because the dude was like, he said he wanted for his earnest money deposit, he wanted the whole amount, and me foolishly, I'm like, yeah, I can give you that. So I put the whole amount on the contract, and then right after I did it, I got on Voxer and I hit you up. I'm like, hey Chris, hey, this dude said this, You like, get out of it now. Don't do it. So he was like, tell him 10% or whatever. So I got back on there, and I called him up. I got off the Voxer. I immediately called him up. He was like, yeah. I spoke with my partner. My partner told me this. He told me, we can't do that, but we can do this. He was like, cool. So yeah, you saved me on that one. One thing I do want to say about that mentorship is crazy, man. The real scam in all of these gurus, real estate stuff, the real scam is you thinking you're going to learn something from a $200 course. Or you think you're going to learn something from videos. You can't learn from the videos. I'm telling you that right now. It don't matter who it is that you learn. You're not going to learn from the video. You're going to learn if you get that mentor package. Like, if you have to have somebody that's literally teaching you. I don't know, there may be people on, you may have students who learn from that stuff, but I'm just saying, like me, like I needed somebody to say, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Right. Now you taught me how to fish, and now I can fish for myself. I still hit you up, with when I come into little issues, but it's like I said, the real scam is just you thinking you're gonna get it. This is not a hobby. This is a business. Right. Real estate is a business, and you have to look at it as this is an investment. This is a real investment. And the great thing about having my business, incorporated, now everything I paid you is a write-off. Yep. I get it on the back end. Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I could have said it better, man. That's the exact truth. That's what I realized with myself. Hey, listen, you're going to pay either way. If you just buy a course and you just try to learn it on your own, you're going to pay in a lot of experience, a lot of failures, a lot of time wasted. And that's fine if that's, the route you want to go, people. But most people get discouraged and end up giving up. Most people that try to pay in time and pay and watching free YouTube videos or just going out there on their own, a lot of you just don't have the mental strength to stick through everything, and then you end up saying it doesn't work and give up, and then you start going back on YouTube and seeing people look just like you getting checks, and you don't know why they getting checks and you weren't. So
yeah, and the other thing is, once I paid you, I didn't. Normally what I do, like I said, I go through all the videos and, like I said, get that paralysis. What I did different this time was I just implemented everything. Like, you have to really, I don't know why. Like, so many people do that too. Like, they'll pay the money. Yep. I did it. I'm one of those people. I did it. I paid the money, and I'm just sitting there looking at the damn course. But you gotta actually implement it.
Yeah.
To the point where you're doing it while the video is playing. Like,
Yep.
that's how I did it, and
that's true, man. It's true. I mean, I talked about it on the coaching call last night. I think the reason why people don't do anything for real, after you get all the information, is there's definitely information overload. But two, you have been conditioned that failure is an issue, and so you see all these different things, and sometimes it's just like, oh, I don't know which thing I should do first. But even when that's laid out, it's in your head. You fight against, oh man, what if this happens though? Okay, but what if you go drive for dollars and somebody call you? Well, then what are you gonna say? Okay, but what if you say what they say here on the script, but then what if they ask you a question that's not on the script? So you're fighting yourself against failure because you've been taught and conditioned in school that when you fail, you get a bad grade. When you fail, you get punished. But in real estate, in running a business, failure is a key. Failure is the must. You have to fail your way forward. So I think that's the problem that a lot of people have, is that they're so afraid of failing. They're so afraid of them looking bad in front of their spouse, or friends and stuff like that. That is why people don't take action. And they'll rather place the blame on something else and say it's not them. And then that's when nothing happens.
Absolutely. My wife was not a believer. She called me. I don't know if anybody ever watched. I'm a millennial. I don't know if anybody ever watched a cartoon called Rugrats.
Oh, of course.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
I used to watch Rugrats, and Tommy Pickles, his dad name was Stu Pickles. And Stu Pickles, he was like this inventor. You know what I'm saying? He always had like different inventions, and a lot of his inventions, none of the inventions really ever worked. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, Stu Pickles created Reptar, and then he got Reptar land, and then he got a ticket. They flew him over to Paris, and but my wife, she was calling me Stu Pickles for a long time. when I came home with that $28,000 check, you know what I'm saying, she ain't calling me Stu Pickles no more.
It's Mr. Stu Pickles now, huh?
I'm ready to quit my job. I'm ready to do this,
Wow.
Like, for real. I'm being that serious. Yeah. I'm like I'm ready to watch Chris videos. I'm ready to learn now. She thought it was, like I said, we didn't think this stuff was real. I'm serious. I really didn't think none of this stuff was real, man. But yeah, that check will make you a believer.
Oh man, what? No, it definitely will. So yeah, Yosef, man, I appreciate you coming on the podcast and sharing with all of the listeners today. Any other last encouraging words you want to give to the people that's listening?
My last encouraging words would be to just go out and do it, man. I'm one of those people who like to have checks in the block, and I'm like, well, before I start this, I want to have my LLC ready. I want to do this. I want to do that. But when I approached Chris' program, I said, I'm not going to do none of that. I'm not going to get no LLC. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to get out, just do it. And once I know that sounds like, it sounds like a cookie cutter answer, but that's the truth, man. Y'all need to just get up, just do it.
Yep.
Just follow the material, get on the phone. If you got the software, you need to be sending out the messages. Go back, follow up with all of the people or whatever, and just be consistent with it. I did this. I said I'm only going to do real estate 3 days a week. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Wow.
I got this deal doing it 3 days a week. So
that is insane.
Just do it.
Perfect. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure you tag me on Instagram at Detroit Mogul. I will repost. And you guys know my quote: don't live the dream, live your dream. I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Escaping the REI Newbie Zone podcast at www.escapethenewbiezone.com.